Epictetus was a renowned Greek philosopher who lived centuries ago. His Stoic philosophy has influenced the world through many generations. Here are two of his outstanding philosophies about difficult situations. He said, difficulties are things that show a person what they are. He also said, when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. End of quote. Friends, welcome to this riveting and invigorating life-transforming mentoring piece titled, What to Do When Hell Rages Against You. Hell, in this context, is an aphorism that metaphorically describes crises or deeply distressing situations. It also conveys the concept of suffering, chaos, or miserable situation that appears hopeless. It depicts an unprecedented level of affliction wherein an individual or people feel utterly surrounded by misery and hopelessness. Have you ever been in intense and overwhelming difficult situations that release toxins of fear into your hearts? Have you experienced setbacks that make you desire to be unalive? Have you encountered misfortunes that led to grievous and mind-boggling financial burdens? Have you been falsely accused of misdemeanor crimes that you are completely innocent about? Have you lost close relatives and friends, and the grief in your heart is devastating and unfathomable? Has your reputation been severely defamed or damaged over situations that you are merely a victim of? Has the fury of hell raged against your heart that compelled or compels you to contemplate suicide? Have you been jailed for an offense that you are totally innocent about? Have you suffered or are you currently suffering several miscarriages or health problems? Have your family and friends mocked, betrayed, or abandoned you? Have you been labeled a serial liar, but deep in your heart, you know that you are an innocent victim of strange adversity? Everything seems to work against your happiness and your reputation. What bitter pills has hell served you or is currently serving you? Tell us in the comment section what you will do if you encounter ruthless and overwhelming onslaughts of difficulties, betrayals, and strange conflicts. Not a few people have committed suicide while experiencing intense personal setbacks that are sometimes caused by delays and inexplicable affliction. You see, when someone is confronted by intense setbacks, which can aptly be described or symbolized by the word hell, one survival strategy to embrace is motivation. Yes, indeed. Motivation is an antidote for fear, discouragement, depression, and humiliation. Motivation is a timeless energy that can insulate your heart from fear, sorrow, discouragement, and keep you from giving up. The well-being of your mindset is key when life throws hard punches at you. Why dissipate your energy worrying over challenges instead of focusing on your mental health and your responses? Always remember, every difficult situation or crisis has an expiry date. In spite of the truism that some difficult situations may appear to endure eternally, nevertheless, the truth is that whatever setback or crisis that hell throws your way will not last forever. It is natural. When crisis strikes, fear and worry invade the human mind. Howbeit, through motivation, you can learn the skill of staying calm and focused on your desired outcome during crisis and difficult situations. Motivation enables us to be resilient. It can inspire and empower us to discipline our minds during setbacks and trials. Indeed, we cannot always control the circumstances that we sometimes encounter, but we can certainly control how we respond to them. Our response undoubtedly will determine the outcome that we achieve, because obstacles and setbacks can be stepping stones for success to be achieved. Now, let us analyze the adverse impact of fear, delay, discouragement, depression, and humiliation in many lives. These are lethal weapons of mass destruction that are currently ravaging many lives. Fear. Let's talk about fear. That weapon of mass destruction. It is as old as the universe itself. It is a destructive energy. Fear and ignorance walk hand in hand. The fear of death and failure are the greatest fears of all. Perverted fears such as the fear of the unknown, the fear of the rejection, the fear of embarrassment, the fear of failure, the fear of financial burdens, and the fear of death are toxic to the human mind. Countless people fail because of fear. It has caused many people to terminate their lives, which is one of the major causes of premature death the world over. Fear is everywhere. From little children to the grayed head, fear torments, it paralyzes and destabilizes people. It has driven many people to become addicted to alcohol and drugs. Do you know that many people fear old age? There are a lot of people who are afraid to travel by air. Some people fear heights. When I was a teenager, I aspired to be a pilot, but the fear of heights made me jettison that dream. Many are afraid to drive a car or even to enter a crowded room. Some people are afraid of public speaking. There are people who are afraid that they may not live to see the next day. Some women are tormented by the fear that their most cherished skin would someday wrinkle, or that they may become victims of sexual assault. There are also men who are afraid that their wives or daughters may become victims of sexual abuse. Many married couples fear the possibility of divorce, while some children fear that their parents may end up separated or divorced. Some singles fear that they may not find the right spouses to marry. Some parents fear that their children may hook up with the wrong friends who may be a thorn in their flesh. In some parts of the world, the fear of terrorists and criminal gangs has become their nightmare. So you can see that fear is everywhere. Perverted fear is a destructive and negative energy that hinders success and happiness. Death is the perversion of life. Wickedness, the perversion of love. And fear, the perversion of hope. Perverted fear has become so natural that we do not even realize it is a tormenting energy that subtly ravages many lives. You know, it is impossible for darkness and light to cohabit in the same arena. Likewise, it is impossible for fear and hope to cohabit in the same mental atmosphere. Fear produces superstition, sickness, and diseases, but hope can produce healing and peace in the midst of difficult situations. Most people who are sick are afraid to lose their lives. There are many adults who are afraid to sleep in a dark room alone. Fear can produce failure in all ramifications and can also lead to bondage. Perverted fear is a dreadful oppressor. Therefore, resist fear with every energy of hope. When you act in fear, you bring harm to yourself. Fear is negative imagination that you can cast down immediately. Some say that fear is natural, but that is absolutely untrue. It is faith and hope that is natural. Negative fear is a travesty and a counterfeit of hope. The human mind is a battleground. Therefore, guard your minds with all diligence. Feed your minds with words of hope and keep perverted fear out of the arena of your minds. Perverted fear is like little foxes that spoil the vine. Fear is a brutal enemy. If you do not know what your enemy is capable of, it inadvertently smacks of self-destruction. It is expedient to know your enemies as much as possible. Fear is a subtle and merciless enemy, and first, we must be wary of its fiery darts. Hey, have you been suffering from oppression in your relationships, your health, your finances, or at your job? Is it oppression from disappointments, sickness, fear, or failure at the border of a breakthrough? The fear of poverty, the fear of financial burdens and scarcity has compelled many people to seek wealth and protection through devious means. Fear is a destroyer that always transmits negative energy. We can overcome fear by keeping hope alive through determination. Hope is faith, and faith is a remedy for fear. Courage, hope, and determination overcome fear. You see, fear has torments. It destabilizes and shreds human emotions apart, ripping a body immune system to bits. But you can use fear to your advantage, because the flip side of fear is caution. Don't be afraid of fear, even though it is coated with torments. Resist fear with courage, hope, and determination. It is better to try to do something and fail at it than not to try at all. Always remember that perverted fear is a traitor and a consuming monster. Although it comes with the power to limit one's potentials, it also serves as a red flag to caution anyone. Whenever fear captures your emotions, it is a signal that trouble is around the corner. So, be courageous. Do not be afraid. The fear of the unknown has sent many people to their early graves. Leave your past failures behind. Grab the lessons learned as you need the experience in life's precarious voyage. Fear is a tormenting force with a mission to destroy its victims. Whenever your fear is greater than your faith, then you must realize that the enemy of your destiny has infiltrated your life to destroy it. Therefore, you must resist fear with desperate enthusiasm. Delay. Yes, delay is the unanticipated impediment of any activity. I have been a victim of the brutal scourge called delay, and its goal was to reward me with unprecedented levels of misery and defamation. Delay means to hinder, to postpone, to slow down something or an event, to make late. It is an obstacle to success and happiness that plagues humanity. It can aptly be referred to as a stronghold of misery. Delay causes disappointments, stagnation, and embarrassment. Oftentimes, people encounter difficult seasons in life that are caused by delay. The roadblock called delay wipes out people's hopes and joy. You see, delay always collaborates with the forces of disappointments. Every human being suffers the scourge of delay and disappointments one way or another. Delay frustrates people's dreams and leads to hopelessness. Every human being is susceptible to the anguish caused by delay. Now let me tell you an ancient story. History records the story of a young lad called Joseph, who was one of the 12 sons of the patriarch called Jacob in ancient Israel. Historical records avow that Joseph was loved by his father Jacob above all his siblings. As a result, his father gifted him a unique coat of many colors. His brothers were said to have been jealous of him because they hated him. His brothers then plotted to murder him. On a certain day, Jacob, their father, instructed Joseph to go check on his brothers who were grazing their flock. When Joseph's brothers saw him coming, They plotted to terminate his life, but one of them, who was called Reuben, advised against shedding his blood. Eventually, they grabbed Joseph and threw him into a dry well and left him therein to perish. But alas, when they saw a caravan of Ishmaelites heading towards Egypt, they decided to sell Joseph into slavery. And so they slaughtered a goat and applied its blood on Joseph's coat of many colors. They later took the said blood-coated coats to Jacob their father, informing him that a ferocious animal had devoured Joseph. Their father Jacob was saddened by the concocted story, and first he mourned Joseph grievously. Long story short, Joseph was eventually sold by the Ishmaelites to Potiphar, who was one of the senior officers of Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. From being favored by his father, Joseph was sold into slavery by his siblings. So, if your siblings or close friends and associates betray you out of jealousy, remember that there's nothing new under the sun. You will not be the first or the last to be betrayed by relatives and friends. If you have never tasted the bitter pills of betrayals from relatives and friends, then you must be from another planet. Anyways, let us stay focused on the subject called delay. It is recorded that at one point, Joseph later found himself in prison in Egypt because he refused to have sexual intercourse with Potiphar's wife. Many people are in physical jails, emotional prisons, or spiritual incarcerations for crimes they never committed. Joseph had the gift of dreaming about things to come, as well as the gift of interpretation of dreams, which was what rescued him from prison and led him to be appointed the prime minister of Egypt. Imagine, from a slave to a prime minister in Egypt. So tell me, what prison-like situation are you presently experiencing right now? Are you in grave financial prison called debt? Or are you in a bitter marital prison? Is it the prison of joblessness, hopelessness, or barrenness, depression, humiliation, or health crisis? The challenges of life develop character, and delay is one element that exacerbates setbacks and trials. Joseph was in prison for over 2 years just because he refused to have sexual intercourse with Zuleika, his master's randy and evil wife, who falsely accused him of attempting to sexually seduce and violate her. Also, he was in Egypt for over 2 decades, which may have seemed like eternity. Friends, sometimes delays may end up being to people's advantage. There are people who were victims of delayed flights, but such delays eventually save their lives. There are people who experience delays in their marriages, but ultimately they got compensated with good spouses. Delays have positive and negative attributes, but the experiences thereof are oftentimes frustrating, because more often than not, delay is an enemy of progress and happiness. Now let's talk about humiliation. The pain of humiliation is destructive. Its impediment has led not a few people to take their own lives. Call it shame or disgrace, ridicule or embarrassment. This is one vicious enemy that paralyzes or neutralizes success and happiness. Many people have lost their lives prematurely because of shame and humiliation, while some deserve to be humiliated because of their irresponsibility. Others are mere innocent victims. Many times the brigade of failure and misery lure people to indulge in certain activities that coerces them to find themselves in awkward situations that lead to humiliation and regrets. Someone can suffer humiliation when he or she commits an antisocial or illegal act like stealing, drug trafficking, and fraud. Humiliation can demoralize an individual or people. It can distract and agitate anyone. It is the abasement of one's dignity. Not a few people have terminated their lives because of humiliation. A few years ago, a weird story about a middle-aged man who was caught red-handed having sexual intercourse with a donkey made the rounds in the city of Enugu in Nigeria. He was caught stark naked right in the act, and he confessed to doing the abominable act, blaming the devil for his appalling conduct. He was then stripped naked, paraded and humiliated within his community before he was handed over to the police, who arrested him on charges of raping a donkey. How lamentable. You see, disgrace or humiliation simply means to be out of grace. It means to lose honor, to dishonor, to bring shame, to lose reputation, to discredit, to degrade, to dehumanize, to scandalize, to lose respect, to lose a good name. Many people suffer disgrace or humiliation as a result of their criminal or immoral actions. But unfortunately, some people suffer humiliation even when they are truly innocent. May that not be your experience or reality. Humiliation can ruin anyone. It is a ravaging emotional fire and a devourer of dignity. It devours the confidence and self-esteem of its victims. For instance, when a very influential politician is jailed for massive fraud or money laundering, his family will suffer humiliation. The fear of shame and disgrace torments many lives. Sometimes, setbacks appear in apparels of humiliation and serves as a precursor to people's success. Humiliation can provoke retaliation, revenge, and conflicts. Financial difficulties and debts can attract humiliation. For instance, when a man is unable to fulfill his financial obligations to his family, ridicule may inevitably be unleashed upon him. He may then suffer various degrees of humiliation from his spouse, families, and friends. Such situations have strangulated peace in several homes and decomposed or led to the breakup of many marriages. If you are currently suffering from such humiliating ordeals, do not despair. Just keep pushing the vehicle of your determination towards the gates of your goals. A wife will be terribly humiliated when she discovers she is the last person to know that her husband has been having sexual intercourse with their maid or with her biological sister. A mother will feel absolutely humiliated when she discovers that her teenage daughter got pregnant for her steward. Likewise, a husband will feel very humiliated and betrayed when he discovers that one or more of his presumed children are not actually biologically fathered by him, but by his pastor or by his best friend or his colleague or even his staff. Yes, indeed, these things happen all over the world on a daily basis. Now, here's a true story that may astound you. A 19-year-old boy who was a trainee welder in the city of Akure in Ondo State, Nigeria, was in the month of August 2014 caught having sexual intercourse with a chicken. Yes, you heard me right. It was also reported that the boy had previously been caught having sexual intercourse with a goat. He was thereafter banished from his community after the humiliating and bullish scandal. There is a common phraseology that says prevention is better than cure. So we have got to avoid all manners of humiliating situations by all means, as they are capable of suffocating success and happiness. So strive to upgrade the software of your mind, because when you are vulnerable, you can't be humiliated. Many people feel humiliated when they are stabbed in the back by close relatives, friends, and foes. But always remember this: integrity is an antidote for humiliation. My friends, the impact of humiliation can be absolutely devastating. So invest in good relationships, but plan for the day of trouble, because it will always come if you aspire for greatness. Guard your minds tenaciously. Humiliation can shatter the mind like a bunker buster. Confront obstacles like humiliation by being focused on your aspirations and doing what is right. You may encounter betrayals and slanders from families and friends. Be prepared for such experiences. Always remember this: there is eternally a price to pay for success and happiness. If you have been inspired by this mentoring piece, kindly share this link with your contacts. Subscribe to the Exceptional Living channel and share your thoughts with us at the comment section. Thank you for listening, and here's to your enduring success.